All right, let's talk about TikTok. Today, we're diving deep into the story of an app that has, completely reshaped culture, but is also caught right in the middle of a huge global power struggle. Let's get into it.
So, at the heart of the whole TikTok saga is this one giant question. How on earth did an app famous for dance challenges become a major national security concern? I mean, with over 170 million users in the US alone, the stakes, they could not be higher.
To really get why this ban is even on the table, we've got to go way deeper than the headlines. We're going to break down the unbelievable algorithm that makes TikTok so addictive, the brilliant two-app strategy that fueled its global takeover, and, of course, the geopolitical storm that's threatening its very existence. You see, the real story of TikTok isn't really about the videos. It's about the incredibly powerful artificial intelligence humming away behind them. An AI that figured out how to capture and hold our attention on a scale we've just never seen before.
But this incredible algorithm, it didn't just appear out of thin air. ByteDance actually perfected it on an earlier app they had in China called Taotiao, which was a news aggregator. They used AI to build these hyper-personalized news feeds, and that tech, that became the blueprint for TikTok's secret sauce.
And this is what truly set TikTok apart from everything else. Think about it. Older social media was basically a popularity contest, right? It was all about who you followed. Well, TikTok's algorithm just flipped that entire idea on its head. It prioritized the content, not the creator. And that was a total game changer. Suddenly, a video from someone with like 10 followers could be seen by millions of people.
So how does it decide what blows up? Well, here's a little peek under the hood at its point system. A simple like is worth 1 point, but a rewatch, that's worth 5. And that's the secret right there. The whole system is engineered to reward short, captivating, looping videos, the kind of stuff that creates this little psychological habit loop in your brain, making it really, really hard to look away.
And here's how it all kicks off. Every single video, doesn't matter who posts it, has to face this first test. It gets shown to a small batch of about 300 random users. If it doesn't score high enough on that 5-point system, it just fizzles out. But if it passes, the algorithm unleashes it to a wider and wider and wider audience. That right there is the engine of virality.
So, armed with this incredibly powerful algorithm, ByteDance pulled off something truly brilliant. Instead of launching just one app, they built two. For the rest of the world, they gave us TikTok. But for China, they created a separate, parallel universe called Douyin.
This two-app model, this is the absolute genius of their strategy. Douyin was built from the ground up to be an e-commerce powerhouse for China, where in-app shopping is just massive. But ByteDance knew that wouldn't necessarily work everywhere else. So they designed TikTok purely for entertainment. They tailored the product perfectly to each market, and in doing so, they basically wrote a whole new playbook for global tech expansion.
And that two-app strategy became the launchpad for one of the fastest global takeovers the tech world has ever seen. So how exactly did they pull it off?
I mean, the speed of this expansion is it's breathtaking. The absolute masterstroke, though, was buying Musical.ly for $1 billion back in 2017. See, instead of building an audience from scratch, they just bought one. By merging Musical.ly into TikTok, they instantly got their hands on 60 million North American users and just slammed the pedal to the floor. And this global ambition, it was baked in from day one. As the founder Zhang Yiming said himself, going global is a must. He knew that to become a real tech giant, the company couldn't just be limited to the Chinese market.
So really, it was the perfect storm. You had this clear global vision, a game-changing acquisition, a huge investment in localization, and of course, the ultimate weapon, an algorithm that promised literally anyone a shot at stardom.
And all of that incredible success brings us right back to where we started. Because when an app that's owned by a Chinese company gets this big, this fast, it is bound to attract a lot of attention from governments all over the world.
The big concerns, they pretty much all boil down to these three critical areas. First, data security. The fear that the Chinese government could get its hands on American user data. Second, censorship. Concerns that ByteDance might suppress content that's critical of Beijing. And third, foreign influence. The big worry that powerful For You algorithm could be manipulated to push propaganda.
Now, these are all valid concerns, for sure. But to truly understand the sheer panic, you have to appreciate just how much of our collective attention TikTok now commands. This isn't just another app, it's a dominant cultural force.
I mean, just look at the scale of this gap. According to one report, users spend nearly 200 million hours a day on TikTok. Its closest competitor, just under 18 million. That's not a lead. That's total and complete dominance. When a single platform commands that much of our attention, it stops being just an app. It becomes a piece of critical cultural infrastructure.
And this brings us to the fundamental tension at the very heart of the modern internet. The story of TikTok is really a preview of our future. It forces us to ask a really critical question. Can a truly global online space even exist when it's built across the fault lines of geopolitics? The answer to that is going to define not just the future of this one app, but probably the future of the internet itself.